back to TenTenths Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Breout, and I have Adam Nielsen on Zoom. And I am sitting in the Kenga Motorsports studio, and Adam is sitting in a rocking chair.
Still. So
1 year later.
It's funny you mentioned that, actually. So one of my coworkers one of my newer coworkers somewhat recently discovered the wonderful world that is podcasting. Listening, not doing.
Yeah, it's much better to listen, I can promise you.
Yeah, stick with listening, everybody. Trust me. But he's not a car guy particularly. He doesn't dislike cars, but he's not one of us idiots.
It hasn't ruined his life like it has ours.
No.
Okay.
So he appreciates cars. He knows a thing or two. He's more of a diesel bro, but not like a bro.
He didn't name his son Rolling Coal.
Oh, God, don't even get me fucking started. Don't even get me fucking started.
The funniest damn thing. Sorry, for anyone that's not in our little group. So there was a thing that floated around Facebook that somebody had a picture like of their newborn baby, and it had like the name thing next to it, and the name said the first name was Roland, the middle name was Cole, and whatever the fuck the last name was, Roland
Stone.
Cole, whatever. Stone, yeah, Roland Cole Stone, real name,
but like not like Roland, like ROLAND, Cole COLE, which kind of been like, oh, they just didn't know, right? Oh, haha, that sucks to be that kid. No, ROLLIN, Roland COAL. They did it on purpose.
That poor child.
I can't even describe to you how much that angers me.
Well, I'm curious if that'll even be a thing by the time the kid's old enough to know anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say 10, 12 years from now.
I hope not.
They're like,
for his sake, I hope not.
What the
not
hell?
Even for humanity's sake.
Just that poor kid.
For his sake, I hope not.
What the heck is Roland Cole? I don't know. My parents, man.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario for this. But anyway, apparently he finally decided to tune in, but of course he did it on YouTube.
It's the best place.
He's endlessly making fun of me for having nothing on the wall behind me and clearly having a laptop just sitting on my lap. I'm like, man, I don't have a fucking desk in my house. And this was only supposed to be a thing we were going to do for like a couple of months or whatever at most, right? Yep. Not like 9 months at this point. It wasn't supposed to be a permanent arrangement.
No, we're approaching a full year at this. I mean, I'm happy with the setup for like interviews and stuff, but yeah, it's not ideal for a week to week basis.
No, I would much rather be, and we probably could, kind of go back to that at this point. I'm not like super worried.
No, we've hung out and we've ate dinner together. We hung out with the
we went
guys
to
from Ohio,
Colorado together.
That too. Yeah.
I mean,
I got a pile of stuff for you.
My work life has kind of gotten even wilder, and this is sometimes easier. So
yeah, no, it's a busy week.
I don't know. Maybe we need to kind of bounce back and forth between the two situations a little bit, but
yeah, I'm good with whatever.
I miss you, Robbie.
I missed you too, man. I got the pile of presents.
I don't want to
for
give you a hug or anything, but
no, don't do that. Stay away.
I wouldn't mind like hanging out person to person every once in a while again.
But like even after the pandemic's gone, I still want people to stay at least 6 feet away from me. So,
I know that's been the greatest part, isn't it?
I don't have a lot of complaints with this whole like, hey, you want to go to this thing? I'm like, man, I don't know, man. It's COVID. I better not go. And then no one questions it. They're like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, that's a great excuse. So I haven't had to go to shit for like a full year. And I'm gonna be really pissed off when that excuse gets to get taken away from me and I have to go to things again.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go to this dinner party with so and so? No,
man, that seems dangerous.
COVID. That's not a thing anymore. You have to go. Fuck.
Sorry, my wife works in the ER, man.
Yeah,
she's exposed to COVID patients all the time. It's just better if I don't.
Yeah. I might just wear a mask in public, like all the time still. Like even 6 years from now, I'm just going to keep wearing my mask because I'll be walking through the store and no one knows what, like my facial expression. Just assume I'm like, if I have my mask on and my headphones on or something, no one's going to fuck with me and I can just go do my thing. So I'm going to stick with that. Just leave me alone. My mask on, leave me alone.
It's not the worst idea.
Now, the headphones in a public store is another way. I haven't done it, but...
Nah, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not okay with that, I don't think.
I don't like walking with headphones in, or like working either with headphones in.
Oh, see, I love to work with my headphones in.
Nah.
Leave me the fuck alone.
I'm all for leave me alone, but the headphones in while I'm like out moving around and stuff, I don't like that.
I take a lot of phone calls too. So it's nice to have headphones in.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Anyways, what the heck were we talking
about? Oh, I'm yawning already, Robbie.
Not a good start. What are we talking about?
I don't even know. Should we do the opener?
Yeah. As always, our opener is presented by Factory Fabrication, factoryfabrication.com. If you are following Booty himself on Instagram at Booney515, he posted a gorgeous curved staircase that he did the railings for. And these are the railings that he was working on when I was harassing him a couple Fridays or Saturdays ago when I was just hanging out at the shop. And I can't believe how incredible it looks. And then the picture he took is just like a picture on a cell phone, and it looks super professional. Like the lighting is super great.
Oh man, it looks so good.
It looks like it's something you would see in a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of shows the type of talent that they have at the shop. So factoryfabrication.com if you want your curved stair railing in your new house or your old house.
So Booney texted me like Tuesday this week, maybe.
Yeah, he said he was listening to the show.
He says something about like, haha, Booney and the boys, I fucking love it, or something like that. And I was like, dude, it just rolls off the tongue so nicely.
Did he text you again recently?
He sent me a picture of an Iowa State Patrol Omni. Did you see that?
No.
Apparently, back in the day, if you will, the Iowa State Patrol had some Omnis.
Well, that's fun.
I don't know why, but it's the dopest.
Man, that'd be cool to make a replica of that.
Yeah, but no, I haven't talked to him any more recently than like say Tuesday.
Oh, well,
why was he? Is there something I don't know about?
Yeah, you called him a boomer, so be on the lookout for that. Your revenge will be swift, apparently.
I don't specifically remember doing that, but I probably did.
You definitely did. As soon as he mentioned it, I was like, yeah, he totally said that.
I don't specifically remember it, but yeah, that's probably true.
But anyways, factoryfabrication.com.
So, this week I came across, actually while I was scrolling through for the news things, I found the 12 top ranked RC cars for adults.
For adults?
Because just because you're a grown up doesn't mean you can't have fun with toys.
Yeah, everyone loves adult toys.
Yeah. So, we in the past we've been kind of Traxxas heavy for reasons.
Yeah, they're the best.
They're not sponsored content of any sort. So this week it's not quite so Traxxas heavy.
What?
You know, just to be fair and balanced, like Fox News.
Uh-huh.
Do they still say that?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I just assume it's all crap all the time.
Well, I mean,
every news station is 90% opinion. So
yeah,
I want to get on my soapbox about how stupid the world is right now. But buggies, this Rock Force 4x4
so
buggy.
First up, the Rock Force 4x4 RC buggy. Only $60
at
which
Target.
I can't.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So I have a hard time taking this all that seriously at this already. Like, we're already off to a bad start.
So your top 12 starts with a $60 RC car?
From Target.
Do they have like a max price for this?
It kind of looks like hot garbage, honestly. I don't know. To be completely honest with you, I haven't made it to the end of this yet.
Okay. Well, this is a car and driver, and they kind of have a history of contradicting themselves.
So the pictures up top show nicer ones.
Yeah.
There's even the X Max in there, which is like a $1,200 one. So we'll see what they do here. But that thing looks like hot garbage, to be completely honest with you.
It comes with lithium-ion batteries, because which
pretty much all do. Yeah. It weighs 4 pounds, which I kind of feel is a little heavy.
For how light it looks, yeah, it does look like that's a heavy number.
I wouldn't recommend taking it off of too many sweet jumps.
What do you think yours weighs?
I don't know. It probably only weighs 4 or 5 pounds too, I would think. But mine's a 2-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So take that. But mine is remarkably beefier.
Especially now that you replaced all the plastic parts with aluminum parts.
Not all of them, just some of them. Everyone got their panties all up in a bunch because they thought I was turning it into this complete aluminum thing, and that you got to leave parts in there to break.
Yeah, you need carbon fiber parts too.
I don't have any carbon fiber parts.
Oh, we can fix that.
I mean, probably, yeah.
How do you have a top 12 and this one's made of plastic? All plastic.
Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
But it's top 12.
Okay, fine, but like that's not where I would have started. Up next, the Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 RC. You buy this on Amazon. Right now it's 28% off for the Rockin' Good deal of $42.99. They talk about how it has like a detailed interior and exterior.
Well, I would hope that the exterior,
which I guess
is
kind of cool. Like the interior thing's kind of nifty. I saw this video. I think I even shared it with one of the group chats you and I are in together. One of the handful of them at this point. That was like an RC drift car.
Yeah.
But somehow they had managed to make it so that it was like a point of view camera, and there were arms going out to the steering wheel, and the steering wheel would turn with the wheels. And so it almost looked like you were in a real car with a camera, a helmet cam.
Well, that'd be pretty cool.
So I wonder if if you were fancy enough, you could do something like that for this guy.
I think we know a guy that could do that pretty easily.
Yeah, we make Don do it.
I had an idea for something this week, and I about texted him, and then I talked myself out of it because I don't want him to just do it for me. Because I was like, I don't need it that bad, and I don't want to spend money.
You don't want to talk about it, or do you not?
Well,
want to talk about it because if you say it on the show, there's a good chance he'll hear about it.
Well, I was just kind of curious. Like, I was on. Here's a wild tangent. So I was on Speed Hunters, and they had the that white F40 from. Like one of the first Liberty walks.
Okay.
And I was looking at, I was just kind of, taking it in, looking at all the cool stuff they did to it. And I was like, I wonder if they make gated shifters for Z's. Just like that, one of those weird tangents. So I looked and I was like, well, yeah, they do, but like, it's all like custom fab stuff. And they're like super wide because the shifter's super wide and fat, especially if you get an aftermarket one.
Right.
I was like, well, that looks stupid. I was like, well, it'd be kind of nice to know what gear I'm in, screaming down the front straight at PPIR. So I don't go from fourth to third, because who does that? But it'd be nice to know what gear I'm in, just for reference. I wonder how difficult that would be. And I started looking into it. I was like, well, there's a bunch of DIY stuff online. I'm like, I bet Don can make this like half as easy and just give me a plug and play thing. And I about texted. I was like, hey, how hard would this be? And then send him the link. And then I talked myself out of it, going, no, because he'll have it built, and he's got enough stuff to do. He's got scooters to finish. He's got our cool system to finish, and like 1,000 cool suits to finish. So, not important, Don. I don't need it. I don't need the underglow right now. We need the cool suit. So we'll let that one go. But it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I also think my issues of missing shifts are days of the past. Now that I spent good money on a good shifter.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
That Torque Solution one is like. It feels like a bolt action rifle, man. It's like you have to really screw up to miss a shift.
Good shifter is so good.
Yeah, and you can spend a lot of money. I mean, there's a couple like $800 ones out there that I just cannot justify. But this, I can't. It was like 200 something. It was a little easier to stomach.
Not so bad.
No, like a mid 200s is a pretty reasonable price for a really good shifter.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So up next, we're getting into the real deals here.
Yeah.
The Arrma Typhoon 4-wheel drive BLX buggy. So this is like the full race car buggy. These are what, like if you go to a local RC dirt track, this is what those guys are probably going to be racing.
Right.
Like the hobby shop here or in Johnston, that's they sell those. This is what they'll be racing. So these things are cool. They do up to 70, which is super dope. The wings are made of carbon fiber, Robbie. At least they can be purchased as such.
And that's the only way to purchase them.
I don't know if they're all that way, but
well,
Pretty cool.
This list is really funny because they're including a $500 RC car, the top 12, obviously. But then they also include 2 sub $50 ones or $60 ones to start.
We had to start.
There's more than 12 great ones out there, man. It's weird.
That's probably true, yeah. So along that same vein, the next one, this is more the truck version than the buggy version, but the Traxxas 4-wheel drive short course truck, which is like basically a scale model stadium super truck.
Yes.
So I know, like back in the day, Traxxas used to sponsor stadium super trucks.
Yeah, there's some sort of involvement.
Yeah, so $470 on Amazon. 60 miles an hour. So I think a 110 scale is a little bit smaller than the one I have, I think.
Really?
So, yeah. So
is this short course one like a level up from yours? I guess I have no idea.
Mine's not a race truck.
I assume that makes the price go up exponentially. Being a race truck.
Yeah, this is a little bit more money than I paid for mine. Mine was in the like $200, maybe almost $300 range, if I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But mine's more for like doing silly stunts and just playing around with it. And this is more for like people who are serious about doing RC car things and like taking them to the racetrack and going door to door.
Yeah. Okay.
So, as is typical for me, less concerned about like being competitive and more concerned about just enjoying it,
having good times,
which is kind of why I'm more of a time attack guy than a wheel to wheel racer. So the next one up looks pretty cool, not too bad a price. The Red Cat Racing Volcano monster truck
kind of looks like a Ram smashed with a Raptor.
Yeah, it's a little weird. $164. Puddle jumping, waterproof electronics.
Always good.
Always good. That's important. Mine spent a lot of time in the snow and the rain. So
yeah, the last thing you want to do is spend a couple $100 on an RC truck and take it outside and get it wet and have it not work anymore.
Yeah, I was told that I should probably like clean off my wheel bearings and dry the thing off a little bit. I haven't done that. I just keep driving it. It's probably going to need a complete overhaul this spring, but it's fine.
I bet there's a guy that sells a kit that fixes all
It's only money, Robbie.
Yeah, you make more of it every day.
Almost every day. I don't usually make it on Saturdays and Sundays, unless things go terribly astray. But every once in a while,
you get it. Yeah, the paychecks show up, man. That's all that matters.
Every week.
Yeah, every week.
Yeah, I get paid weekly.
Oh, I get every other.
Very weekly. Hey-o. That's our favorite joke at work.
Very weekly?
Get it?
No.
Like the other kind of week?
Oh.
Yeah. Get it?
I guess.
It's funny, Robbie. Just go with it.
Hilarious.
Thank you. I wasn't able to log into our so we have an app on my phone that I use to clock in and out every day. And I wasn't able to log into it yesterday or today. So I saw my HR lady like strolling through the office and I was like, did I get fired or like, should I go home? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can't log into the app, clock in. I assume that means I'm fired. She goes, no, I think that's a thing right now. I think a bunch of people are having trouble with it. Like,
that's funny. I actually had that the other week. I was trying to put my hours in before I took off on Friday. And I don't know if there was like an update thing going on, but it wouldn't let me log in. So I tried logging in through I have like a shortcut on my computer, and then if you can't get in there, you can go to like 6 different links, and you can finally get in that way. And I tried to go in that way, and then I reset my password. And then when I did that, it gave me an error that said, "Employee is not an active. This is not an active employee." I'm like, oh.
Hell yes!
So I screenshotted it. I screenshotted it and sent it to my boss. I'm like, I assume I'm not fired, but if I am, we'll talk about it on Monday, I guess.
Get my stuff.
But I don't know. I figured it out on Monday when I was able to get back in, but it was really weird.
Bummer. They must have
still got a job.
Cooler heads prevailed over the weekend, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways,
Bummer, dude. Next up, the Red Cat Racing Everest Rock Crawler. So Dusty has talked to me about this. Apparently, like scale model rock crawling is a big deal in the RC community.
that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
And at first, I said that sounds kind of silly, but then Dusty was like, well, see, the thing is that when your truck is 1/10 scale, suddenly there's a lot more options, especially when you live in places like, say, Iowa.
He used Iowa as an example.
Yeah, he's a dick like that.
What a dick. Why is everyone shitting on Iowa?
They just don't. You know what, Robbie? Let them.
Yeah. Everyone can
We don't want them here anyway.
Stay out of my state.
Just fucking don't even.
Just think.
Jabay.
Yeah, I want you all to think that it sucks here because I don't want you here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That being said, it's cold and it does suck here right now.
So much suck. So anyway, this thing's kind of cool because it has a solid axle carrier that locks the left and right wheels for maximum grip. So that's kind of fancy.
Nice.
Like it's got locking differentials.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Just pretty dope.
I saw a rock climbing video. I don't know what it was. Probably Instagram.
Yeah.
Because I don't go Facebook. And it looked like it was straight up for like 50 feet. I don't know if it was just the angle. I couldn't believe it. It was 90 degrees. And they did it. And they didn't fall over backwards. And it blew my mind.
I think there was like a thing I was watching at some point called Formula Off-Road where they were doing that sort of thing. Like just like these big block blown monsters. And they just, I don't get it, man.
No, it's the physics.
Some of those guys like don't make it. And so they'll roll down the hill.
Yeah.
As long as they land on their wheels, they're going at it again.
Right. Well, the rolling down the hill makes sense. The physics is there. But the guys
always
the guys that go straight up the wall for like 50 feet, wrapping my head around it doesn't work, man. I get confused.
It's all about wheel speed, Robbie.
Yeah, I'd imagine, and torque, but yeah, it's wild, absolutely wild.
Yeah, it is wild. So, next up, the Arma RC monster truck.
Thought we already had one of these.
So this is made by a different group. It's a little more expensive than the first one we saw. Arma is the same one that makes the buggy that we first saw.
Yeah.
So I think this is a little more
entry level
name brand.
Oh, okay.
The Arma group. So, yeah, designed specifically to have a strong chassis for beginners, more clearance for stone and ride height. Body mounts for easy component access.
For when you're modifying your monster truck.
Yeah. So that one, very, very similar to the one I have. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Next up, the Temi RC Race Car. $170. This generic RC race car has four-wheel drive and a max speed of a lame, frankly, 30 miles an hour.
That is weak. Don't call it a race. Don't call it a race car and then top out at 30.
Especially for $170.
That is fucking bush league.
I can buy like off-road like stunt cars or stunt trucks for that kind of money.
$160 go a long way at Target.
At least $30 miles an hour.
Come on. Temi.
I think the one I have does 40.
Yeah.
I can tell you it doesn't feel good when you run into your ankle at full speed. So, the Traxxas Rustler RC.
Yeah.
It's a 4x4 as well. It's got their nifty clipless body latching system, which I don't have on mine.
What is that?
I don't honestly know how it works.
If it doesn't
so
have
the one
clips,
I have, there are 4 holes drilled in the body, and you got to line them up with like some posts that come up through, and then you just put a cotter pin through it.
Okay.
And it holds the body on. And this system's clipless, and you just like push a button and it releases and you take it off.
Okay.
More of a clean look. It's just fancy.
No, yours is way fancier. It's got hood pins.
It's true. It's more race car, at least.
Hood pins are way more race car. I don't want your clipless. I want clips.
$400. Battery and charger not included.
Traxxas, what are you doing?
That's a thing for some of these more expensive ones.
That's like Milwaukee. I'm like looking at drill prices. Like, oh, that's not a bad price. Oh wait, I have to buy the battery and the charger.
That's
all this
a bare
extra
tool.
shit.
Son of a bitch.
And it's double the price.
Yeah,
that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Ain't no shit, Robbie. The Axial Yeti Can-Am Maverick RC Rock Racer.
Yeah,
so looks like one of those Maverick Can-Am UTVs.
You gotta be careful on those UTVs. They roll over for like no reason at all.
Just
like you just be driving straight, and then all of a sudden,
professional drivers.
Yeah, upside down for no reason. It's a good thing that the driver and passenger are wearing a helmet in that RC car because they will roll over.
It's a good role model. So adjustable coilovers, which is cool.
Oil-filled shocks. I
think all of them are, aren't they?
Based on what you were saying and what Dusty was saying, yeah, I think that's kind of any top end or higher end, probably not top end.
I mean, maybe the first one I looked at, it's just like air. I don't know.
Just springs. That's it.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. Next up, Robbie's favorite on the list, probably.
Oh, yeah, it is. 6x6.
A 6x6 like Unimog looking thing. Made by Axial, a metal geared transmission and extended C-channel frame rails for more durability.
It's perfect.
So this is another one of those like rock crawling toys.
Yep. Don't call it a toy.
It's super cool.
Is it offensive?
It's also $500.
Is it offensive to call these a toy? Like if I walk into a hobby store, I'm like, I'm here for a toy truck.
I would not take it offensively. I have zero doubt in my mind that somebody would.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm sure that somebody would.
Man, if I had this UMG 10 6x6, I would slap a dress.
Unimog, Robbie.
No, it says UMG 10.
I know, it's just called a Unimog. That's what it is.
All right, whatever. I would slap some Jurassic Park stickers on it. It'd be great.
So, there is a company in Ames. I think they used to be a company called Anything Scout, and they built things for scouts, if you couldn't figure out the name. Most anything for scouts, really. I had to do it.
I appreciate it.
But I think they've kind of so they did like LS swap kits and stuff like that, and for the second gens, the bigger ones. And I think they've kind of moved on to they still do Scout stuff, but I think they're also doing like Land Cruiser stuff now.
Oh,
Toyotas. Yeah. And they have a 6-wheeled one. I don't know if it's a 6-wheel drive one, but it is 6-wheeled. And I see it in Ames semi-regularly. It's parked in front of their shop a lot, and I drive right by there on my way, like to, say, Walmart or whatever. And it's super cool.
You should take a picture of it because that sounds awesome.
I keep telling myself I need to take a picture of it.
Because I would
More on
appreciate
that
it.
later, Robbie.
Yes. All right.
More on that later. And then the last one on the list, and frankly, I don't know why. This clearly is not done in lists from worst to best, because this thing's kind of a joke. The Soyee, Soyee, Soyee.
It's for the vegans.
RC 4-wheel drive off-road monster truck. This looks like a chintzy cheap piece of shit. It's $120, and I don't know why it does 20 miles an hour.
And they called 120 mid-price. That's not mid-price. That's entry level.
I mean, it is kind of mid-price when you can go to Walmart and buy like a $20 one.
Those aren't even on the scale. Those don't count.
Yeah, but like I don't. Just spend the money.
Well, you're gonna buy this one 2 or 3 times by the time you realize, oh, I should have just bought the Traxxas.
You're gonna buy this one, play with it for a few hours, break it, realize you can't fix it anyway, and go out and buy the Traxxas you should have bought to begin with.
Yeah.
Just spend the money up front and be done with it. Trust me.
And 20 miles an hour, that's so
Weak
boring.
Sauce.
I know a guy with a pit scooter that does like way faster than that.
Mine does 20 miles an hour on the beginner mode setting. So, because you can set it to beginner mode so it goes slower. So, my son has graduated off of that now. I let him play with it on a full tilt boogie.
Nice.
There's also a competition mode that doesn't have a reverse because apparently some places require that. I don't know why.
Oh, weird. It's like if you're racing, you can't.
I guess that's a rule at some locations that you're not allowed to back up.
Huh.
So, like, if you get yourself stuck in a corner, that's just too fucking bad, I guess.
Well, I assume that the rules don't allow you to go over there and, like, touch it, move it, kick it.
I'm sure that's, like, they have corner workers, if you will.
Yeah.
When they're actually, like, running competitively, I assume that's their job.
Yeah, kind of like the go-kart people.
Like the go-kart people, exactly.
Yeah, because if I spin out, I can't back up. They have to come and get me.
Right.
And
But like these things have reverse, so why would you take that away from them?
I don't know.
But it's no different than the full power mode, except
No reverse.
no reverse.
I feel like having reverse is not an advantage in a race.
What the hell, Robbie?
What?
I have 19% battery left.
Let's make this a fast show.
I don't know why. It's plugged in right now.
Is it Adele? Because that's what they all do.
It is Adele.
Yep, that's what they do. They just stop working.
Don't put this on me, Robbie.
Do you not want to buy a new computer?
I mean, I do, but I don't have any money.
Definitely not for.
I'm not made of money, Robbie.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I never want to buy a new computer. I always like hang on to it until it stops working altogether, and then I'm forced to. But at that point, I've already it's a useless computer, and I can't pull anything off of it.
Yeah.
So then now I start fresh, which is really freaking annoying. So I've done that the last 3 laptops. But the last one was Windows' fault because they made me go to Windows 10 on a computer that's not compatible with it. And then it ruined everything. So thanks a lot, Microsoft.
Son of a gun, I figured out what's going on here. Somebody unplugged me and switched my stuffs. Hold, please. This is great. This is great radio.
This is great podcast content. Well, while you're doing that, I am going to tell everyone to head over to mypetrobox.com. Check out my friends' boxes. They are selling boxes. So if you want to get a car culture box delivered to your mail once a month, also you get a chance to be entered for a free set of rotiform wheels that they give away each month. Just by being part of the membership, you already get entered into that. So you can, if you have a membership, every month they pull it and someone gets a free set of wheels. And this isn't like oh no one ever wins. Someone fucking wins every month. It's unbelievable. And these are not cheap wheels; they're rotiforms. I feel like we're not allowed to win, which makes me really disappointed because
I'm sure we're not allowed to win.
Every time I see one win, I'm like, I wonder if my name was even in that drawing. And if they did, I bet they saw like, oh, well, we can't give it to him. I just assume I win every month and they just throw it away because I can't win because we're sponsored. And that would look sketchy. But you need your own box. Go to mypetrobox.com and use the code TTP15, 15% off first box. Or if you click on the store button, you can buy stuff specifically from boxes, previous boxes. So like car care products, hand cleaning products, gloves. I don't think they sell candy, but they'll put candy in the box. I had ring pops in my last box. Face masks.
I had Fun Dips.
Oh, I only had one Fun Dip, but I had 2 ring pops.
You know how long it's been since I've had a Fun Dip?
I've had a Fun Dip more often than I'd like to admit.
That doesn't surprise me. You're kind of a candy guy.
I love candy. I have a sweet tooth.
That's true.
They also sell face masks. Oh my God, I cannot speak tonight. Face masks, the second most comfortable face mask on the planet. Obviously, ours being the number one. But yeah, mypetrobox.com. Use the code TTP15. You definitely need to do it. I know a couple of people have, and they're very happy. And I'm happy for them.
They should be happy. It's the best thing you're going to get in the mail all month. This month that might not be true. You might get a W-2.
Yeah, but
I got my W-2 in the mail.
I'm still waiting on a couple things, but yeah, I got that already. I don't really care about the W-2. I care about the direct deposit. That's what I want.
Yeah, but that doesn't come in the mail, Robbie. That goes directly into to the bank account.
That's fair. Yeah.
But you got to get the W-2 before you can get the deposit.
Yep.
So, very excited nonetheless.
Yes, lots of shirts that you can get here. Lots of really cool ones. I think we have half of them.
I have so many Petrobox shirts.
I have more Petrobox shirts than anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a bunch of Adams polishes you can get for like 15% off. You can get Adams polishes glass cleaner for 15% off. I bet that's probably the cheapest place you can get any of this stuff.
Every time I use that hand cleaner, I go, this is the greatest stuff. Why doesn't everybody have it?
Eagle Grit
there you
hand
go.
cleaner
Eagle Grit.
is so good.
So good.
I have 2 bottles. One's conveniently located, so like when I come in the house from the shop, I can do it like in the kitchen. And then there's one in the shower for when I need to like really get in and get all the grease from under my fingernails.
That's intense.
Oh yeah.
In the shower, no less.
Yep.
So, what happened here, Robbie, is that one of the dogs was an asshole, and we had a bit of an accident on the carpet in my son's room, and the Spot Bot was plugged in. Which is this little carpet cleaning thing.
Yep.
And that's why my laptop wasn't plugged in.
That sounds
I'm sure everybody was wanting to know.
That's why they're here. They want to know every tidbit of our lives.
So now they know.
Also, if you go to like an auto parts store and they're like, and you're like, oh, shoot, I should probably get some gloves while I'm here. Then you go and just grab something off the shelf. They're very expensive. Or even at Walmart, very expensive.
Why are gloves so expensive?
That's because people aren't going to mypetrobox.com and getting the Grease Monkey or the Mechanics gloves that they have in stock. Regular price $15. If you use our code, 50% off. You will not get a Mechanics gloves cheaper than that. I seriously wore my Mechanics or my Grease Monkey Crew Chief gloves for almost 3 hours today. They're great. All right, I think I've done a good enough job telling everybody to go to mypetrobox.com.
Yeah.
And if you're not, that means clearly you're not a fan of the show, and I am hurt.
Yeah, like what are you even doing here?
Yeah, like, do you not support this free show?
Yeah, it's if you want it to stay a free show.
Yeah, there we go. Guilt.
Buy stuff from Petrobox that you can use.
Threat in them. Yes, I was trying guilt, but let's go with threats.
You know, we're mixing a little bit here, a little bit there. See what works.
Yeah, tough love, kindness. You know, you got to go back.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, yep.
So
what are we doing this week? It's a time of year where we don't have a lot going on.
It's been a bad year for having not a lot, Robbie.
I know.
And things I was hoping to do keep freaking getting canceled. Lincoln Swap Meet got canceled. Pissed.
Those don't surprise me that those get canceled. But I bet like all the big
events. Those do surprise me that those get canceled because people who go to swap meets, generally speaking, don't care.
That's fair. That is very true.
They definitely fall into the this is not that big a deal camp.
Yeah. They're in the not wearing a mask camp.
Right. So
yeah, I won't argue. I won't argue with that.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So hopefully that we can get this vaccine thing going. And yes. I can get back to walking around at swap meets.
That would be great.
But anyway, I don't know how this is going to go. It's probably going to go terribly. It's fine. You've come to expect that here at TenTenths podcast.
We're consistent for 5 years. It's fine.
Yeah. So everybody knows that I'm terrible at taking pictures.
The worst.
And I'm also an incredibly busy person. Sometimes that's my own fault. Sometimes it's not. But I'm busy nonetheless. And so a lot of times I will take pictures of things with the intention of posting them on the gram, doing it for the gram, if you will.
Yeah.
And then I never do that ever.
No.
Because I don't have time. And then, so then I end up with, let's see, I think I have like 10,000 literally pictures on my cell phone. Shit's out of control. I'm going to look just because it's funny to me. It's crazy. Oh, 9,024.
That's insane.
But I did notice that there is a very large gap in time where I apparently lost a bunch.
Where do I get totals? Is like a thing?
Huh?
I'm trying to see if it'll give me totals.
Yeah. So I pay Apple for extra storage virtually. It's 99 cents a month. It's not that big a deal.
Oh. I got an Android. It's whatever's on this little SIM card. I don't
You've got like an SD card probably.
I haven't taken a picture since January 22.
What? That's crazy talk, Robbie. I probably took like 5 pictures today.
Yeah, I haven't taken a picture since January 22.
I take a lot of pictures for work though. Oh, I didn't take a picture today. The last picture I took was yesterday, and it was of the combine I got stuck behind in the middle of February.
Oh yeah. Why were they moving that? That's weird.
It turned off into an implement, into a John Deere dealer. So,
Planning ahead.
Maybe coming in for winter service. I don't know. I can't imagine that's an easy thing to get running when it's cold out.
I'm sure it's fine, but I'm surprised they're doing maintenance on something they're not going to use until, let's guess, September.
I don't know. Do they do like recalls on them and stuff like that?
Probably, yeah.
Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. But either way. So my phone fills up with all these pictures that I have all the best intentions of using and then never do. And so what we're going to do, just because I think it might be interesting and funny, is we're going to go through, picked 15 of these pictures. I started at the very beginning of my photo gallery and started working my way through this. I just barely got into when my son was born. He's turning 5 in a month.
Yep.
So, there's a lot more where these came from. But we're just going to talk about the silly things I take pictures of that I see that are, generally speaking, automotive related. That I should have posted on Instagram, but never do.
What would have been really fun is if we would have done this together and just swapped phones and then picked what was on the other person's camera. And then we could talk about it. Because I feel like we would be
so confused, Robbie.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any pictures on there that I wouldn't want you to see.
I know there's nothing on there that I wouldn't want you to see because I delete those.
Okay.
But I always get nervous anytime I hand my phone to somebody even if I know there's nothing on there because I delete that shit.
Yeah.
But let's say I hand you my phone to look at this picture. I get very anxious if you just start swiping left or right. My wife's dad did that.
Why would people do that?
I don't know. I was showing him.
Let's take a brief moment to talk about phone etiquette. If someone hands you a phone and they have a picture pulled up in their photo gallery,
you look at the one
do
picture.
Do not fucking swipe unless instructed.
It was Jess's dad, and I can't remember what I was showing him a picture of, and I handed him my phone to look at the one picture, and the first thing he did was start swiping. I'm like, no. I mean, there was nothing there, but my first thought was, oh, what if there's a picture of your daughter? Don't do that. There wasn't.
It's rude.
Oh God. Yeah, don't swipe someone else's phone unless you want to see something they don't want you to see.
Even if there's nothing that I don't necessarily want you to see, it's still rude.
Oh yeah.
Don't do that. Unless I give you permission to swipe, don't do it.
Yeah, just stay out of my phone. So when we swipe through yours, what did we find?
So first up, because we've talked about oil in the past. Oil is a hot topic item on this show, or has been in the past.
Yep.
Because some of us used real piss water oil and blew up engines.
Me, I did that.
I still can't believe that none of us knew that.
I don't know. I just figured high mileage.
How did the three of us, that's a reputable brand name, I thought.
Yeah, that's what Corvettes.
Was it Mobil One?
It was Mobil One. Corvettes have a sponsorship with Mobil One. That's what they.
Mobil One's a reasonable brand.
The Corvettes finished 1-2 in Rolex 24 running Mobil One. Why couldn't I do a couple track sessions with it?
Apparently, you can only do a couple track sessions. You get a few in.
I guess.
Not too many, though.
Apparently not 24 hours.
No, God, no. So, anyway, this will probably trigger somebody.
Good.
But it's funny to me. So, I put Rotella tea in a lot of things because it's cheap and it's all synthetic, right?
And it's great.
But it literally says heavy-duty truck engine oil on it. And so at one point when I was putting it in the Omni, so that tells you how old this picture was because I needed to do an oil change on the Omni. It's been a minute. I thought I would be funny and take my Sharpie marker and cross out truck and write race car on it.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what a lot of people do.
I know, and there's people who like get up on their high horse and talk about all the science behind why it doesn't work that way. It's fine.
It's a high zinc content oil. It's great. It's a great oil for like not a lot of money.
Oh, it's so cheap.
In fact, the last time I bought VR1 from the AutoZone right next to where I work, the manager there looks at me and goes, "You're the only one that buys this. I only stock it for you." And I laughed, and he goes,
Thanks, man.
I'm not joking." He goes, "Everyone else comes in here and buys the Rotella. I was actually going to tell you that, hey, you know that Rotella that has high zinc too. You could just get that." I was like, "Nah, I'm going to stick with this one because it's working." He's like, "But yeah, I'm going to stock it for you, but you're the only one that buys it.
Don't fix it if it ain't broke, right?"
Yep, I'm sticking with that one. VR1.
Yeah, oil's one of those things that really gets people fired up.
But
so everyone's allowed to their opinions, and even if they're wrong, you can have it. Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I ran Rotella all last season in the Z. That's all I ran.
Yeah. I ran it in the Omni for a long time. Eventually, I noticed that I think it was long left. If I had an autocross with a long left-hander, too many long left-handers, if we had a couple, it would have a little bit of a valve tick when I came off. So I started adding a little bit of Lucas oil stabilizer because I love that stuff.
It's good stuff.
I'm pretty sure it's at least 50% maple syrup.
It kept my Avalanche running for like...
Dude, it's the best.
It's honestly, it was like 50% that and oil by the time I got it to the dealership. So
it's mind-numbing how crazy good that stuff is. But I would run that, and I wouldn't have the tick, tick, tick noise when I come off course ever.
Perfect.
So clearly my car has some oiling issues.
It's fine.
But it's an autocross car, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Probably. Until it's a track car, and then it won't be fine. And I'll have to figure that out at that point, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
yeah, I don't think I'll run it this year. I have I won part of the contingency for AMSOIL through mid-iv last year, so
there you go.
I'll probably run AMSOIL in the Z.
I think you might know a guy there.
I know a guy. Matt's
the AMSOIL situation.
Matt's my hookup, so I got a discount.
If you're local and you need an AMSOIL hookup, hit us up. We'll get you hooked up.
Yep. Or just run mid-iv TT and win some stuff, and then you'll get some discounts.
Even better. So, up next, the world's coolest Jeep, Robbie.
That's not a Jeep. Okay, so it's a yellow, looks like a Spec Racer Ford, but it's got like a Jeep front end.
So here's what this thing is, right?
What is this?
This is a D-Mod autocross car. D-Mod is a silhouette class, but that allows tube chassis.
Okay.
And so it just has to generally look like the car that it's based on, right?
That's a very loose rule.
And yeah, well, yeah. So I talked to the guy. There's a guy in Cedar Rapids who built these. There's two of them that I'm aware of. I don't remember if this was his first or second edition of them. I talked to the guy for a while, but it's been many moons ago, so I don't really remember my conversation too well. But what I do remember is that essentially what he told me is that through many, many mathematical things, he arrived at there being an ideal wheelbase and width for a race car for turning purposes, for suspension geometry and the sorts, right?
Okay.
And so what he did is he built a chassis that fit that and then faked a body on it. And he's like, well, this is basically a square vehicle. What's square? Jeeps. Those are square. Let's put a Jeep grill on it, some Jeep stickers on it, and call it a Jeep.
And it worked?
Oh, dude, it's super dope. So, I'm trying to remember which engine this had. He uses GM 4-cylinders. He's built a few of these. There's some Lotus. There's a guy in the Cedar Rapids area that has a Lotus 7 rep that I'm pretty sure the same guy built. And then there's just a few of these silly things out there. But I think that this one might use the little bitty spark motor, the 1.6, if I'm not mistaken, turbo motor. And the motor is kind of, if I remember right, in this car, it's kind of in the passenger footwell.
That's kind of how it looks because there's not a lot of room. So you basically goes
it's got
grill,
it's
wheels.
got a solid axle in the back
Oh, wow.
because the engine is off center. And so the pumpkin is slid over to the passenger side.
Oh. Okay.
Which is a thing that a lot of guys do in autocross cars, like these modified level autocross cars. They'll have solid stick axles with offset center sections because their engines are in the passenger compartments.
That's wild.
To get weight balance. That because apparently that's more beneficial than having like a independent rear suspension setup. So I would assume that these probably use some sort of Watts link. If I had to take a guess. But yeah, it's pretty wild. It's the craziest little thing you've ever seen in your life. It's snarling and angry and turbocharged and insanely fast.
I say it has to weigh all of 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so it looks. Yeah, it's like the size of a large go-kart. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not small or not. Yeah, not big.
No. It's a gnarly little thing, though. They're super cool to see. They don't really show up that often at our local autocross events.
No.
But I have been lucky enough to see both the Jeeps and the Lotus 7s that he's built run a handful of times. And my Lord, are they fast and incredible to watch.
Was this picture taken at the airport?
The airport in Oskaloosa.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thought I recognized that. I was trying to decide if that was taken at the Nationals over in Lincoln or if that was local.
Nope, that was at Oskaloosa. So every once in a while you'll get some crazy thing that shows up. There's actually more pictures in here of crazy things that have shown up at our local autocrosses.
Always fun.
Every once in a while you just get like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah, how long has this been local to me and how have I not seen it before?
Right. Yeah. So next, one of my favorite vanity plates of all time. It's a Chrysler 200.
We're gonna Go. I was gonna say we're about to backtrack all the progress we did in the last year.
That's probably true. That's probably true. I have an explanation for it.
Go on.
My preferred explanation for it, which makes us look less terrible. It's a Chrysler 200, and the license plate simply says "woman."
And the obvious joke is going to be, "Thanks for warning us."
Thanks for the warning, right?
See,
here's my assumption: is that like this is some smart asshole husband who is not only like a huge chauvinistic pig,
yeah, for sure,
but also thinks he's funny and very much isn't. And he got this license plate for her, and she can't do shit about it.
That's probably the most realistic story. Yes. The other one, because I was thinking about this, like we can make jokes about this all day long, but that's not really. We don't want to be those guys in all reality,
right? Yeah, no, not really. No,
I'm all for stereotypical jokes. I'm good with that. You can make white people jokes. I'm gonna laugh my ass off at them. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does not bother me. But at the same time, I don't want to be labeled as fucking the sexist. Pig. Yeah, exactly. I feel like we've done a good job of proving that we're not, but I don't want one joke to derail that.
But when you see that, you have to take a picture of it, right?
Yes. But the other logical, maybe not logical, but it's an explanation that I thought might make sense is that the person that is driving this vehicle was not a woman in the past, but now is and wants people to know.
Could be that, or it could be like a real feminist type of person.
Yes,
but I feel like they
wouldn't they just put wouldn't you just put feminist? Like if you were the feminist?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Or maybe it means something totally different.
Oh, I'll guarantee
it. Maybe it's an abbreviation for something. I don't know.
I'm sure it's an
It's
inside
dumb.
joke at the very least, and we're just not privy to it. But
It's dumb.
it would have been funnier if he would have took a picture and it was clearly not parked right.
But thanks for the warning.
We're not sexist. It's just funny.
It is funny. If you can't laugh at it, then I don't know.
Yeah, if you can't laugh at stereotypes, then
I like just
Nah, the best part
there's a small amount of truth in most all stereotypes.
a little bit. It's a
So
stereotype
just,
for a reason.
Just laugh at
Yeah,
it. It's fine.
Own it and move on. That's fine.
Yeah. So next up is a very old picture of,
Oh my god.
I want to say it's like a Vulcan motorcycle.
Vulcan. Looks like a Yamaha.
Maybe it's a Yamaha. I don't know, but it's like a street cruiser, right? It's not a crotch rocket.
No.
It's
It's got
very
a-
much like a Harley Davidson-esque street cruiser bike, right?
Yeah, it's got a V twin.
That somebody turbocharged.
It's a cute little turbo, but I guarantee that it puts some power down.
Oh, dude, I'll bet it's a riot. As long as you can keep yourself from burning your leg on their shorty exhaust there,
Yeah,
I'll bet it's a riot.
Yeah, so it's like a little Harley. So it doesn't look like it's a really big bike, but just
No, it
almost
wasn't.
like a soft tail or like a
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's got the V twin. Then the headers wrap around to what would be your right hand side, goes to a turbo that's I don't know,
Right under the front of the gas tank.
yeah, within an inch of it, and then
Yeah.
then the exhaust comes back towards your crotch and then goes to the ground. There's a
Just
little
dumps right there.
There's a little bit of heat wrap there.
So your leg straddles the exhaust pipe, and the inside of your shin,
No, the inside of your thigh.
the inside of your thigh area. Well, yeah, that's where the exhaust is. But like the inside of your like shin area would be right where the
Turbo.
hot side of the turbo sits.
And that has no wrap on it or blanket or anything.
I get so hot, dude. So hot. That's got to be
This
a
is
terrifying thing to ride.
this is why you wear your chaps.
See, I wonder if this was like a very early iteration of this. I don't know.
How else would you do it though? I mean, you can't
I
really
don't know, man.
hang the turbo anywhere else unless you wanted to like wrap it all the way around to the front.
Yeah, I think putting it lower would probably be worse
Right behind the-
almost, wouldn't it?
No, because you don't want to put it right behind the wheel because you catch a rock right into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen these done like this before. It's one of those things like there's not really a great way to do it.
But like a crotch rocket where you have your legs kind of back and under you
Yeah, or
might be a little better. Whereas this, you got your feet out in front of you, your legs running right next to that thing. Man, it's got to be a warm ride.
yeah, and the way the crotch rocket engines are set up, it's usually you can fit a turbo there a lot more. Maybe not comfortable is not the right word, but it works a lot better.
Yeah.
But those things really don't need to be any faster than they are.
No, they do not.
A stock R1 can go 200. So I mean, you don't really need to turbo that.
No, probably not. But this is cool. I like the ingenuity. It's clearly like kind of a home built, homebrew. Let's just see what happens sort of mentality. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I always kind of nerd out over that type of stuff. If I'm at a car show or a bike show or whatever, and you see this type of stuff, I'll sit and poke my head around.
This was one of those things that I saw from the road and was so taken aback that I turned around and went back and stopped and got out of you can clearly see in the reflection of the gas tank, my work van to take that picture.
Yep.
There's not a lot of things because I feel really weird about doing that.
It depends. Like
There are so many times where I have seen something that I've wanted to stop and take a picture of, but I feel too weird doing it, and so I don't.
in those
But
situations,
this was so cool to me that I did it anyway.
in those situations, if it's something that I feel like I need to take a picture of, and it's not something I'm going to make fun of later, like if it's something I find cool, I have no problem with them watching me do it, catch me do it, and I'll smile and wave. Thumbs up.
That's fair.
Yeah, but if it's
This was sitting in front of a body shop in Ames. I assume it was an employees.
yeah. No, if
I
it's
saw
something
it there semi-regularly.
if it's something I'm going to make fun of later, I try to hide the fact that my phone's out. I don't want them to know that I'm taking a picture.
Yeah, because they got to know, right?
Yeah. Now what was it? I think I sent to the group. I honestly can't remember what it was, but I was driving down the interstate and I took a picture of it. And I was very obvious that I was like hand out in front of me in front of the windshield. but like that person doesn't think I'm like taking a picture of it because it's cool. Because there's just no way.
I don't know. Maybe they do. Like, depending on what it is, they probably did it because they thought it was cool.
I mean, I guess that's probably true with the 240 and the Z. Anytime people on the interstate stop and take pictures, like we'll pull up right beside it, take a picture, and then keep going. I bet it's 50-50. Something like 50% is probably like, man, that's really cool. And then the other 50 is like,
look at this fucking racer.
Look at this stupid wing on this fucking car. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
So I might think, granted, I will admit the wing's kind of ridiculous, but
it's not even that ridiculous of a wing, though. I mean, it's not an APR 1000.
No.
It's not some wild carbon fiber Voltex thing. It's just a wing.
It's just a wing, but it's super tall. I remember the first time I took it to Ames for the Dyno Day, someone sent a picture to Iowa Petrol Heads or whatever about how tall it was. But they weren't really making fun of. They weren't making fun of me though.
It is a ways up in the air.
If I don't do a lot of track stuff with it, I might actually knock it down a few inches.
Yeah.
Really considered it. I might still do that, just regardless.
Right.
It doesn't need to be 6 inches above the rear or above the hood or the roof. Sorry.
Yeah. So next, what Robbie should buy if he were at a swap meet.
What is this?
This is a racing simulator. For circle track for sprint cars. So it looks like it's a sprint car body chassis,
cage,
if you will.
Yeah.
With the rear end removed, the front end removed. It's on casters. I think some of the door bars have been cut out and lowered, so it's easier to get in and out of.
It looks like that seat swivels too.
The seat swivels a little bit, which I don't know that that's really that helpful.
No, because the other bar's in the way.
Yeah, but they had 3 of them. This has been so long ago that I couldn't even tell you how much, but they had 3 of them that you could buy as a group with an enclosed trailer. And I think that they were like, the idea was to take them to events and then charge people to do some hot laps in sprint cars.
Yeah, $3 a race or whatever.
So this was just this would have been just pre-podcast.
And yeah, you can tell there's a little bit of age to it because like it's a very like the decals and stuff look like they're a little older, a little dated. Not
but this picture was taken probably 5 years ago now. But so like if you think about like how far home simulators have come in 5 years.
And yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with that is because like 5 years ago at PRI, you might see 1 or 2 of these set up where people are either trying to sell the system or just make a little bit of money by having people jump in it. Whereas, if you go, not this year, obviously, but the next PRI or the one that we were at previously, there was like 5, 6 of them.
It was almost an entire hall that ended up being dedicated to it was, I don't know that it was on purpose, but I think they kind of grouped them there. And it was almost that one whole room was simulators.
Right.
So, and I think that number is only going to keep growing.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's like an entire section of PRI.
Especially after this year.
Oh, yeah.
So, because that game's gotten quite large.
Can't call it a game, Adam.
I mean like the simulator life. Like that's become a real thing now.
Yeah. No,
I think there's legitimately people who don't race that have pretty expensive simulators and are perfectly okay with just doing that.
Yeah. I know Josh LePetri, a longtime friend of mine, he's been getting very serious into sim racing. He's got his own Instagram, Under the Influence Racing on Instagram. He's been doing like every day, like new sim stuff. I haven't talked to him about it, but he did a qualifier race, like where you have to like get to a certain point to get even in. He got like 10th out of 27 or something. So I mean, I assume that's really good for what he was doing. But he's cool. He's taking it very seriously and he's doing very well. So yeah, if you want to follow someone that's doing sim stuff, Under the Influence Racing on Instagram.
There you go. Could have bought it, Robbie. I wish there was this price on it.
It'd be too much.
I'm just kind of interested to know how little or much money it was.
Yeah, I've always liked the idea of taking like a car interior. I know, Michael Gall. You remember him from Omaha Drifter?
Yep.
He has the
like a dash and all that.
He has a dash, the seat, and the center console from I think it's an S13, and he basically converted that into a sim. And I've always kind of considered doing that with mine, is making it a little bit more, or at the very least just throwing some underglow lights on it, making it look super ricey.
Hell yeah!
I mean, at least do that much of it, because I mean,
nice.
I don't know, slapping it together with some boards I did. Oh, that would have been like 7-8 years ago. And I haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
Oh well, it works, and I'm happy with it.
Cool. Next up, so a few years ago, I got in a car accident, sort of. A Jeep Grand Cherokee was pulling out of a trailer park home and onto the road that I was driving on, and somehow she managed to wedge herself between my van and my splice trailer that I was pulling behind it without actually hitting the van at all. And I took the first 8 inches of this Jeep with me.
So did she T-bone you? Were you guys?
I mean, for all intents and purposes, I hit her.
How did this happen?
But she was at fault. So she was pulling out onto the road and just in a daze, probably on her cell phone or whatever. And had I not had a trailer on my vehicle, this would not have been an accident.
Okay.
She was that close to not hitting. She did not hit my van at all, but she managed to time it out just so that she hit the front corner of my trailer.
Oh, okay. So you're driving, whatever, down the road. I'm
driving down the road.
They're pulling out, and then
she's pulling onto the road I was trying to be on. She was going to be pulling across and going the opposite direction that I was.
So she was
her initial plan.
Yeah, so she was trying to time it so that she would jump right behind your van, not realizing there was a trailer there.
Probably. I don't know. It's a huge trailer. I don't know how she missed it. But somehow she hit, it was just the front corner of the trailer. She didn't T-bone the trailer or anything like that. It was the very corner of it. And I took 8 inches off this Jeep.
Yeah, so the hood's completely smashed up to about the wheels. The bumper's smashed to the wheels. Looks like the engine's, if it's not pushed back a little bit, it's all the way to the engine.
Yeah, the radiator was shoved all the way back.
To the wheels,
yeah. I nearly made this mid-engine.
Yeah, that'd be like a whole front clip to fix that car.
I don't know that it probably didn't get fixed.
I assume it got totaled, but it's
major. That's all the antifreeze on the ground there. Just puked all of its guts on the ground. So it would not move. The front wheels were locked because the bumper crash assembly was smashed against them. So they wouldn't roll at all.
Holy cow. It seriously looks like this car hit a brick wall at full speed.
So fucked. Thankfully, she was okay. She was not hurt. I was not hurt. It was just, she was very shaken up. I, frankly, was very shaken up because I had no idea what happened. I'm just driving down the road, minding my own business, and all of a sudden my trailer's swinging wide and my van lost 10 miles an hour like that.
Yeah.
No idea what had happened. And I look back and I see that Jeep just obliterated.
Oh, God.
So.
Yeah. Did your story and her story match? When the cop?
She completely took. She said, "I didn't even see you."
That's always helpful. I remember I saw an accident happen. I was in the turn lane to go left to pull into a parking lot, and this car was coming up to my right on. So it'd be at this point there'd be 3 lanes, so 2 driving lanes and a turn lane, and then this car was coming to my right past me, and then someone just cut right in front of him and T-boned that car, just destroyed it. So I'm like, well, shit, I witnessed the whole thing. I should probably stick around for the cops.
Yeah.
Even though in Iowa you don't have to do that. But
nope.
But I did. And then
still the right thing to do.
Yeah. So I get there and I wait, and the cops finally show up and they get everybody off the road, kind of start taking statements, and like me and a couple other people are waiting because we're the ones that call the cops, and they come up to us and they're like, well, we don't really need you. They agreed on their story. I'm like, oh, well, that's good at least, because this could have been a real mess if the one person that was clearly at fault here was like, no, it's their fault. And I'm sure that happens more often than not, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, so just crazy.
I remember, so the place I worked at before had kind of a weird setup. My direct supervisor owned a lot of the equipment, and the company paid him for use of it.
Okay.
And so the the van I was in was a company vehicle, but the trailer I was pulling was technically his.
So you had to file 2 different insurance claims.
And so it was very confusing to deal with that. And I think that this was kind of the impetus of them starting to move away from that and finally buying their own equipment or purchasing said equipment from him. But making that phone call was like really, really fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's not my fault. The trailer, this was probably a year plus before I left there. And it was undamaged enough that they never fixed it in the time I was there.
Wow.
So there was a side walk-in door that you couldn't use anymore.
Yep.
But that was really the only damage. The front corner was kind of smashed up a little bit, and the bottom of that door, because it was just a little bit back from the front, had shifted just a little bit, and so it wouldn't open anymore. That was it. It was fine otherwise.
That's crazy. How much damage it does to that Jeep, but like your trailer's fine. You would think it'd be the opposite. Like the trailer would just be destroyed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a beast of a trailer. Clearly.
I guess.
So, yeah, chalk that one up as a win for me, I guess.
I'd say so.
So, next up is one of my dad's crazy unfinished, unfortunately, projects that he no longer has that I love dearly. So what this is it's a first gen Scout, a Scout 1 chassis and engine with I think it was a 37 International cab and front end set on top of it. And everything lined up really well and fit. And what we were going to do is we were going to shorten the bed so that because the Scout 1 chassis is significantly shorter than the truck was originally. So we were going to shorten the bed to fit on it and make like this cool, silly little hot rod looking Scout truck thing. It would have been the coolest thing ever. And there was some issues with the steering linkage clearing, and there was some little stuff that like probably could have been solved, but my dad's not the best fabricator in the world. He's an engine man. Like he can build himself an engine. He's not really a fabricator per se.
Okay. Oh, it's super cool though.
Oh, it would have been so cool. How funny is that thing?
This is the type of stuff I would get super into. Like it's just you just take a Scout body and just throw a full size truck front end on it, or front half, and an itty bitty bed. It'd be great.
Yeah. So it was one of those, like, I've got a whole bunch of projects going on, and this one kind of stalled out type of deal. And he threw it up on Craigslist, and somebody paid him for it. So we never saw it again. Never saw if it was finished or what.
Oh, shoot.
But I think it's the coolest little thing.
Yeah, it's probably sitting in someone's garage somewhere.
Yeah. So
just pulled it down, put it for sale, and someone offered, and he took it.
Yeah. My dad kind of does this like rise and fall thing.
Where he's like way into it and then decides he's not into it anymore.
No, like the number of vehicles he owns kind of surges.
Oh.
And then he's like, I fucking hate this. I have so many cars. I can't work on them all. I don't know why I own these many cars. This is dumb. And he puts them all up for sale. And then he sells like 3/4 of them, and he regrets almost all of selling all of them. And then mom complains about how tired she is of listening to him complain about selling those things. And so then he stops selling what's left, and we start all over.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's the life of my dad in cars.
How many cars does he have now? Because he sold, I guess he did sell a bunch last year because he moved.
Yeah, he sold a bunch last year because he moved. He has already sold, flipped one vehicle since he moved. I think that's gone now. So he has the Trans Am and the Formula.
Yep.
The Altered is gone. He has the International that I went and picked up with him in Chicago here,
Been a while already.
6-8 months ago, whatever that was. And then just like his personal pickup.
Oh, that's not so
That's
bad.
all he's got.
Yeah,
so he's got 4 plus my mom's car, so 5.
It's about time he buys a new project, I
I
think.
think. I don't know. So my grandparents, his parents, own a bunch of farmland. And there is a machine shed on some of that property. And I can't be sure that that's not full of cars. Because, again, it kind of rises and falls.
He could have been stashing them for years.
You know what?
And not
There
telling
is
anybody.
definitely at least one car that I can think of. Because he has a GMC Sprint SP, which is essentially an El Camino SS. That's actually a super rare car.
Right.
But he has that there. There's only like 200 of them ever made or something silly.
Yeah, that's worth hanging on. That's worth hanging on to.
Trim. It's really not worth anything, though.
What? Something
The El Camino SS, of which they made, probably 100 times more.
Yeah.
Worth way more money.
That's so weird. You'd think
It's one of those cars that its obscurity makes it less valuable.
that makes no sense.
It's just that there's nobody that's interested in it.
So
I don't want the GMC. I want the Chevy.
Huh.
That's what it's one of those deals.
Weird. Very strange.
So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting car. I probably have a picture of that somewhere too.
I'm sure you do.
So, yeah, I just didn't get that far in my timeline. So, next, the world's cleanest Chevy Beretta GT.
I have never in my life seen a Beretta in yellow before.
It's the dopest, Robbie.
Is that a factory color?
I think so.
And it's got like real like racer decals on the side that say Beretta GT.
Those are 100% factory.
Oh my
It's got
God.
factory wheels. Those are factory logos.
Yep.
It has the rear window louvers. This thing is the best, Robbie.
No, it's not. It's the worst.
It's
But
a Beretta GT.
But
It's
somebody
so cool.
loved that car.
It's so clean. Look how clean that thing. You could eat off that.
It is
So good.
It is cleaned and polished. I think I'm seeing a little rust over the wheel well, but it is immaculate in every way. Like
I'm trying to figure out where I took this picture.
It's in the middle of some gas station.
Those are not Iowa plates on the vehicles behind it. Enhance. Yeah, I don't know. It's got a. Those are Minnesota plates.
Surprised it's not
On all those
rusted
vehicles.
completely out at that point. I suppose if
Yeah.
they baby it, never drive it in the winter.
When you zoom in, it's not as clean as I remember it, or as it looks.
But it's a Beretta. How many are left?
Yeah, that's fair. It's got a handicap sticker on the rearview mirror, or the dingling thing.
Yeah, hanging from the mirror.
Yeah, I don't know where this was.
But
I can't believe I don't remember where it was.
Talk about a car that's just like weird to have somebody truly cherish or like take care of.
Oh, dude, anybody who owns one of these does not own one of these by accident anymore.
Right.
There's a bunch of cars like that. It's one of my favorite things to think about with old stupid cars that I love. It's like when you see one that's in really good shape, that person doesn't accidentally own it.
Right.
They own that car as a project of their passion.
Yeah. They bought it because they loved it, and they've kept it because they loved it.
Right. And they take care of it because it's not worth anything to anybody except them.
Right. Yeah, like 80s, early 90s stuff. The Beretta.
Yeah. But you know what's silly? Is those are swinging around.
It kind of reminds me of the oh god, was it Cutlass? The Oldsmobile Cutlass. It's kind of around that same year.
They had like a Cutlass Sierra or something like that.
The Cutlass Supreme.
It's Cutlass Supreme, yes.
White with the black. It was two tones. It was white to bottom, black top, and then they had the door handle up top.
Oh yeah, on the side of the door.
On the side of the door.
Like behind the window.
There was a guy I went to high school with that had one of those. And this would
he thought it was the coolest thing in the world too, didn't he?
It was one of the cleanest cars in the parking lot on any given day. So the paint job was immaculate. The leather interior was immaculate. The tint, like it was as clean of a Cutlass that I've ever seen, and that I ever saw then, and I've never seen one even close since. Probably, obviously, because there's nothing left. But
right,
even to this day, if I see a Cutlass Supreme, I think of that car because of how well of a job he did taking care of it. It's kind of the same thing. Like, no one else gives a shit about that car, but he thought it was perfect.
Nice. So next, you got to skip one to go to the next first.
Look at that beautiful car in red.
Oh, so story time.
Yes.
This is the one time I took the Omni drag racing.
I have never been drag racing. I almost went to this event.
So I went up here. I made a long weekend of it. It was their test and tune weekend for the Sioux Falls Autocross Group, the Sports Car Club of Siouxland.
Yes,
is what they call themselves. And then on Friday night, it was also the test and tune at the drag strip. And I think that was also the same weekend that I put the car on a dyno.
Did you really?
Yeah, I've got a dyno sheet for it too. Makes more torque than it does horsepower. Just strange for a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder.
No kidding.
But
it doesn't have like a tabletop of torque.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, for what it is, like, they're not impressive numbers, but if you just look at the graph, it's a pretty good graph.
Yes, it really is.
It's just that they need to be moved up a couple hundred is all that, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But so Josh and I decided to take our cars. At the time, Josh Fettis owned a maroon NA Miata that had been 1.8 swapped, but was otherwise completely stock.
That car got passed around a lot, didn't it?
Oh, a ton.
Like, a bunch of people own that car.
Don owned that car.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Josh bought it from Don. And it got passed around a whole bunch before that, and it got passed around a whole bunch after that. So I'm sure that car is long dead.
Oh, yeah.
But Josh and I were able to line up against each other, and we had what was probably the slowest drag race of the night, but also probably the closest race of the entire night too. So I really struggled to shift in that car at the time because I still had the original factory motor mounts, and the engine rocked so hard under load that you could not shift it from second to third.
Oh, geez.
You had to drop it into neutral and let the motor settle, and then drop it into third.
like double clutching
bad.
it.
It was so bad. So my times are not truly representative of what the car is capable of.
Right, so how did you do?
I'm still not proud of it.
So your quarter mile time.
I forgot how bad it is.
Oh my God.
It ran a 16.5.
But it still beat Fettis.
At 81.01 miles an hour. Josh ran a 16.7 at 82.8 miles an hour. 82.9 miles an hour, if you will. So I cut a much better 60-foot time, but he had a much better reaction time. So he got off the line first.
Oh, yeah.
But I had already made up that difference by the 60-foot, and I was a good bit ahead of him at the 8th.
Yeah, you were. Almost.
But then he was coming back, and I dude, if that race would have been 20 foot longer, he'd have beat me. I beat him by 0.0028 of a second.
That's so good.
The slowest, closest race of the night for sure.
16 seconds.
16 and a half seconds.
That is.
The car is definitely capable of a 15, but that's still not much to brag about.
No, but that's awesome though.
So that was May 16th of 2014.
A lifetime ago.
a lifetime ago, Robbie.
Oh my God. I was in college.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first year I owned that car.
Yep.
So it's been a long time.
That was a good year, though. 2014 was a good year.
I think that, was it 2014? I think 2015 is the year that I ran like
A shitload of races.
like 26 events or something like that. Something stupid.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because you did every SCCS.
I did most of the SCCSs. I did all of the DMVRs. I think I did one or two Iowa regions. I did a handful, all the Marshalltown events. A lot of times it would be like at Marshalltown on Saturday and an autocross somewhere else on Sunday.
And you crashed a couple Corvette clubs.
I did a couple Corvette club races. I went and raced with the Minnesota SCCA region once.
Yep, I was there for that one.
I was all over the place,
Forest
dude.
City or
so
whatever.
many events.
Was that also the year that... Did you do Good Guys?
I did Good Guys that year.
Yeah.
Yep. I've done Good Guys twice, but that was the year that I...
15 was when you were racing or autocrossing or something every weekend, it felt like.
Yeah, it was wild. I did a lot. Because I knew I was having by June, I knew I was having a kid.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I mean, I'd already done a handful of events at that point already, but then I was like, this year's going to be the year. And it turns out that it was a good thing I did it that way, because that hasn't panned out at all like I had hoped at the time. So we'll see if we can turn that ship around this year.
Hell yeah. We got good things this year.
So next up, a little more drag racing talk. This was probably 2014 as well. My dad and I had just recently discovered that Drag Week was even a thing. Drag Week, I think we've talked about it before. Quick synopsis of it. You start, it's kind of like one lap of America, but for drag racing. So you start at a drag strip and you drive to another drag strip every day and you make a pass, and your times are averaged out throughout the entire weekend or through the entire week.
Is this like, is it kind of like Power Tour?
Power Tour is just a car cruise thing. There's no competition to it whatsoever.
Okay, I'm confusing the two. Okay.
Unless there's like some sort of car show competition.
Yeah, but whatever. That's just
both Drag Week and Power Tour are Hot Rod magazine events.
Yes.
So they are different completely, because otherwise it would be the same guys doing the same event. But the year that I kind of discovered what it was, they were in Topeka, and so my dad and I went and spectated. I took a day off of work. We jet set down there, and then I ran home again. I think I met him in like Omaha, or whatever. But the year that I went was the first year that Larry Larson ran his S10, which is what the picture's of. So they had an unlimited class, or they have an unlimited class, which is literally that.
Whatever you build.
There is no rules, no limitations to what you can do in that class, short of safety rules, and it still has to be street legal, and you still have to fit under, the rest of the rule set, being that you can only have like so big a trailer.
Yeah.
The people who are allowed to work on the car have to ride in the car. So really, generally speaking, it's just the driver and a co-driver. You have to, you can only work on the vehicle with the tools that you take with it and stuff like that. There's some limitations like that Unlimited still fits in. If it's something you're interested in, you can read the rule book on your own. But Larry built this truck kind of as like a statement piece about how he thought the rules were stupid. And he literally wanted to build this truck with the idea that he probably wouldn't be allowed to race it more than 1 year.
Okay.
And I think that this is something that Time Attack might see sooner than later.
So I guess what was his gripe?
So he thinks Larry is an old school man at heart. So Larry Larson believes that cars, that these should start as real cars, whereas most of the cars that run on most of the competitive unlimited drag week cars are full pro mod cars.
Right.
They're carbon fiber bodied cars that were never real. This was a real S10 at some point in its life. It's not a full tube chassis carbon fiber monster. It is a tube chassis vehicle. Don't get me wrong, but that's a real steel roof.
Yep.
And quarters.
It had a VIN number at one point in its life.
Yes, and that was one of the things he wanted. The other thing is that, so when they showed up at a racetrack, they would. It had dual fuel. It has dual fuel systems on it, so it has a street and a drag strip fuel system on it. When it runs on methanol, it does not require a cooling system, so they pull the radiator and all that shit off of it. To make it so that they can lighten up the vehicle. It had steel doors that they drove with it down the road to minimize noise and stuff a little bit.
Yep.
But then they put carbon fiber doors on it. They pulled the whole exhaust system off of it. It was like a 2 or 3 hour job to convert this truck from street spec to race spec, and then 2 or 3 hours to do it back again so they could go to the next track. And basically he built this because he was like, this is fucking dumb, and I'm going to prove to you how dumb this is by doing it myself. Like, I'm going to show you how stupid your rule set is and that you need to change it by showing up with this truck that's going to be so ungodly fast because it's a full-fledged drag car.
Yeah.
It's not a street car that you can take on the strip. It is a full-fledged drag car that has lights so it can be driven on the street. And that's what he did. And they didn't change the rules at all. Not even a tiny little bit. They were like, yep, this is the coolest thing in the world.
That's what we wanted.
So it didn't really work out like he wanted it to. But, he still created a lot of talk. And he got his point across. I can't say I disagree with him, but at the same time, I love it.
Yeah.
Right? So
I can see both sides to that argument.
Yeah. So the truck is stupid fast. 6-second capable fast.
That's insane.
I saw it on its third run it had ever made down a racetrack ever, and it ran a mid-7 or something like that. Just incredible. Just absolutely astonishingly fast.
That is absolutely wild.
So it was very cool. This was before I owned an S10, but I've long been an S10 lover, so seeing this was quite the deal. So Drag Week is fun. If it's ever nearby you, go check it out because it's a cool event. And there's all, there's these wild things, but then they have they literally have a class called Daily Driver, and it's dominated by basically stock, maybe bolt on wheel and tire package CTSVs and stuff like that. Just very simple, relatively mundane, I guess, cars. They have a gasser class. It's cool. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, that'd be a fun show to be at.
So
event.
Yeah, they put on a show for sure. So get there early because a lot of these unlimited guys, they'll get out there and they'll make a pass real early in the morning. And if they're happy with it, they'll pack up and leave. Because one of the things that's different from one lap, my understanding of one lap, and maybe you can tell me if this is for sure true or not, the transits from track to track are not set by the competition body. However you get from A to B is perfectly fine. As long as you get from A to B.
I believe that's the case, yes.
In Drag Week, the route is predetermined by Hot Rod magazine, and you have to prove that you went to these places by taking pictures of you and your car in front of them. And they purposely choose places that are going to take you on bad roads and places that are going to take you to places you wouldn't want. It's not interstate driving. It's all 2-lane bullshit. And it's going through tiny little towns and having to deal with
tractors
breaking down and getting stuck and running these vehicles through, subpar maintained roads and stuff like that. So that's part of the challenge that they try to add in there. But the mileage is significantly less than most one laps are.
Yeah, so one lap's like 3,500.
So I guess you got that going for you.
Yeah, one lap's like 3,500 miles.
Yeah, drag week's not anywhere close to that. I bet it's half that. But it's made worse by being purposely terrible transits. So kind of an interesting deal. But like you can see in this picture, they've got a portable air compressor and a portable generator.
Multiple generators.
The whole truck is tore. The whole front of the truck is tore off. The doors are taken off. They're working on pulling the fuel tanks out of the back of it right now to put the other fuel tank in.
Doing that once would be enough. Like I hate working on trucks or cars at a track. Then having
you
to
imagine
do hours of it every day?
Fuck that, dude.
Nope, not worth it.
No, I'm with you on that. So
I commend him, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So
Let's keep
coolest
rolling.
truck ever. Next, this is actually not a picture I took myself, but it's so interesting I want to talk about it. So this is literally a trailer with a scissor lift that can pick up cars.
So it's like not a tilt trailer, but it's a trailer kind of like mine, like an open flat trailer for vehicles. So it's kind of it got the dovetail, so you can
Yep.
Is that dovetail?
Dovetail ramp trailer.
Yeah, ramp trailer. But it's also got it's literally has a lift on it. Like more like a quick jack lift, but it's tall.
Yeah, it's like a scissor style.
Yep.
Not like a 4-post or a 2-post lift. It's like a scissor style lift, but it can lift the car up. And like I can't decide if this is the greatest thing ever and would be super awesome at the track or if it's silly and stupid. Probably falls somewhere in between.
It's somewhere in between because I think because it's a scissor lift, you better hope you're not having to change a clutch because it ain't coming out.
Well, it will on my front wheel drive car.
Not on a rear wheel drive car.
Nah, fuck you and your rear wheel drive car. What if you have a transaxle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which end is the clutch on?
Front.
Is it up front? Is it on the engine?
It's on the bell housing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
At least it is on the 944. The clutch is on the engine, and then you get the torque tube to the transaxle. It's very strange.
Okay.
But yeah, so this would be nice for changing wheels and oil changes, and some like if you had to get to something under the engine. But I can't imagine what this costs is worth it. Plus, I would imagine you need an air compressor and a generator to run it.
It's got a generator sitting on the front there.
And I'm guessing that's an air compressor sitting next to that.
That's a big generator.
So I bet, because it's got you can see in the picture there's an air impact sitting under the car on that hose. So you have to have
Well, that was to take the wheels off, Robbie. Come on.
No, but look how big the socket is on there. It looks like a 28. It's huge.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what runs it up and down.
No, that'd be power hydraulic lifted like my tilt bed.
Is it power though, or is it like a
jack
screw that pumps?
No, there's
like,
no way.
It screw and then that impact spins it.
Well, either way, you still need an air compressor.
I know. Yeah, it's not well thought out. It's absolutely ridiculous, is what it is.
I think Dalton's setup in his behemoth is a better setup than this.
Yeah,
one.
that's got a 4-post in it.
Yeah,
But he can't use.
I don't think this would be. I understand the idea. I don't think it would work as well, and that's probably why you don't see them as often. Plus, I imagine it doubles the cost of the trailer, and you're just like, this isn't worth it.
No, it's totally not worth it.
And then I bet it adds 1,000 pounds.
Oh, easy. Yeah, I think it's more silly than.
So now you have a 5,000 pound open trailer, 6,000 pound maybe. And at that point, you'd be like, well, I'd much rather have it enclosed, even if I don't have a lift.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting.
You do see them once in a while though. Like
I'd rather have one of those airlift trailers.
Oh yeah, That'd be way better.
That's on air ride?
Yep.
That would be way cooler.
You're talking the one that drops to the ground, so you can
drops all the way down. Just drive a car on it.
Those are so expensive.
They're crazy spending.
Like
if I'm going to spend money on a trailer, it's going to be that over this lift thing.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, because an open trailer that would be equivalent to my tilt bed. Equivalent's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Would be probably I paid $2,500 for my trailer before I did all like the facelift stuff to it. That same size trailer with the air ride dropping to the ground would be like $10,000, but it'd also be aluminum.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. So next, a car I maybe should have bought.
Oh, I can't believe you didn't.
So I have some reasons. We'll talk about it. So this was at I think you'll swing my side here.
Nope.
This is a Formula 440 that should be your first indication of why I didn't buy it. That was at a salvage yard that a friend of my dad owns, an acquaintance of my dad, maybe. I don't know. He's done some business with him. He knows him semi well. The guy just buys and sells old cars. And if you and I get up north again, back home, you and I are gonna go walk through this place because
I don't go back home anymore.
I don't either.
Northwest Iowa? No, I'm good. Thanks.
It's up in the Lamar's area.
Oh no, I'm out. That's like near Sheldon. And
come on now, Hull is closer to Sheldon than that is.
Exactly. I don't go there either.
Well,
it's way too close to Sheldon.
I mean, maybe someday. So, but anyway, so this was a Formula 440. So the engine that was on it was already out of date.
Yep.
And not up to, the modern standard because now they're all Formula 500s. This was a full track version, not an autocross version, which doesn't really matter. I had originally intended on buying it for autocross purposes because that's what I was heavy into at the time. But because it's the track spec one, it has like a full cooling system that's much larger than probably was necessary for what I wanted to do with it. It has a full fire suppression system, which could have easily been removed. Not that big a deal. But is pretty rough. It's all there, but it was pretty rough. They have no real suspension.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of just rods.
They have more suspension, if you will, than a go-kart. Because they have these I don't know, if you want to know, you can look it up. But they're like some weird puck thing that has some give to it. And you can change out the durometer of those pucks to kind of adjust spring rate, if you will.
Yep.
If I remember correctly. But still, where we live, most of our lots are fucking terrible.
You would bounce around like crazy.
And so I can't, when I watch shifter car guys, I'm like, that looks terrible.
Yeah, they bounce.
Like rattling fillings I don't even have out of my teeth. Oh my gosh. And so I'm sure that this would probably be marginally better because it's a longer wheelbase, a little heavier car, and it does have some mild suspension, but it still would be god awful, I'm sure.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
And I was in at $500 and he wanted 15 or 2.
Oh,
he was way high. We weren't even in the same ballpark.
There's no way he sold it for that.
No, I'm sure it ended up getting crushed.
Because I'm guess based on the condition that it's in, it looks like it's been sitting, maybe covered, but it looks like it's been sitting for a very long time.
I had pictures of its most recent SCCA annual tech sticker. I don't know where they are. I probably could have dug around and found those too, but it was 80 or 90. I want to say it was 95.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's way out of date.
Yeah,
it's an 80s chassis.
But yeah, and let's assume it's sat in a barn, so it's probably got rat's nest and junk in it. So
it needed completely rewired. It needed completely replumbed. It needed completely repainted. Yeah, it just wasn't worth it.
Even if you get it at 500, you're easily dropping $1,000 into it before you buy wheels and tires.
Yeah, my intention was to put a bike motor in it.
Yeah, Yes.
But like the more I thought about it, the more that became difficult too. And I just ended up like, nah, we're way too we're worlds apart, and I really don't even have the $500 to give. So this was pre-Omni. This was when I had the Audi.
Oh, okay. I thought. Oh, I'm thinking of a different one more recently than that. But yeah.
So
you made the right choice, but you still should have bought it.
It would have been so cool. So cool. But
yeah, that's still. I think you and I are very much on the same page that like somewhere in the back of our mind, there's a plan to buy something like this and throw an R6 or an R1 engine in it, and it's there. And it's always
if hill climbs were a more prevalent thing around here, like even in the United States of America,
it's almost like the SCCA should start doing those more. Adam,
they are doing them,
huh?
Robbie. They introduced a new one this year, Robbie.
This would be perfect for that.
I know, but it's in flipping Kentucky.
Kentucky's great.
It's so far away.
It's not that far.
There's a Hill Climb Association of Pennsylvania, apparently, and they hold multiple events a year.
Don't they do one in Illinois? I thought, or Wisconsin?
It's Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's great.
And it looks kind of lame.
Oh.
The Wamandi Hill Climb?
I have no idea.
Something like that. Waumandee, I think. It's kind of like a high-speed slalom up a hill.
Oh.
It's not much. I'm probably still going to go do it someday.
I hope so.
But it's not really that exciting. And then there's another one. I can't remember where it is. I want to say it's in Michigan, but it's like they only have like 40 to 50 cars a year, and it's essentially invite only.
Oh, that's not fun.
Which isn't going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And then there's the Tail of the Dragon one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And there's this new one in Kentucky. But like those are all really far that way.
Yeah, but you have friends in the Tail of the Dragon that you can just
I'm not going to like buy a car and just leave it over there. That's silly.
You could drag it there, but then you don't have to pay for like anything once you're there because you got friends.
Yeah. I'll just build a car into it instead.
All right, fine.
So, but yes, I'm with you, Robbie. I would love to build some like silly, mildly arrowed out, small engine bike swapped sequential transmission formula car.
Yep. Doesn't fit in any class. You're not doing it for any reason but because you really want to.
The other thing is that like I can't take this to a Fast Friday or a Sunday Fun Day at RPM.
No.
They won't let you out on track with normal cars.
Nope. You'd have to hope you get a weekend or a day that you're by yourself.
Yeah. Or so like there's just nothing short of autocross. There's really nothing you can do with it.
Yeah.
And that's like almost too much for autocross.
Yeah. I mean, if you could get it all said and done for less than a couple grand, maybe $3,000, if you do it like a sport bike engine, you could justify it. But yeah, $3,000 goes a long way in a lot of other things.
I'd rather build that Jeep thing.
That's fair.
So
keep rolling.
Next up.
Oh my God.
Riced Out Cavaliers.
Oh my God.
So it's got a body, it's got a full body kit on it.
I know you took this pictures because it has like it's taking a portrait style, so it's tall.
Robbie, this is significantly
and then it's
cropped.
And then it's a picture of the Cavalier, which takes up like a third of the picture in the bottom, and then it's just like half the picture is sky.
I cropped a bunch of this picture too.
You can't even crop right.
No, I made it skinnier because there was a ton of nothingness on both. Like you could see all of the Lumina it's parked next to.
Oh, yeah, we don't care about that Lumina.
No. So this is a Cavalier. It's got a full body kit on it. It's got the same terrible, cheap 5-spoke rims that I had.
Did you have that? This is not your body kit, though.
No, it's not my body kit.
This is a newer one, too, isn't it?
Yes, it's also the newer body style. But then they did some sort of god-awful airbrushing.
That's airbrush?
Yes.
It looks like a... What does it look like?
I don't remember. Like, it's very poorly done, whatever it is.
It looks like like a bush, like a
Yeah, it kind of
blue
looks
and
like a
green-
tree.
Yeah,
Like an evergreen tree or a bush.
and
yeah.
So it's like it starts at the bottom of the bumper and goes up over the grill, and then halfway back on the hood, and then it comes to a point on the hood.
Yep.
So it looks like they slammed into a Christmas tree.
It's not symmetrical.
Nope.
It's very poorly done all around.
Uh-huh.
The tint on the headlights are flaking off,
Really bad.
which I don't know why you tint headlights to begin with.
Don't do that.
It was the worst, and I just wanted to save it, Robbie.
It's salvageable, assuming that the body isn't completely destroyed.
It was in Georgia, which means that it's rust-free and ready to go.
It says it was built in Maui.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that either.
Don't have a clue. I have no idea what that license plate is.
I don't know. It was it was in Georgia, or maybe it was in North Carolina. I can't remember which one. But it was. I saw that when we were eating at a restaurant on one of my work trips out of state.
And then you had to explain to your coworkers why you were taking a picture of it.
Nah, they'd worked with me long enough to understand that I have a crippling disease and a love for terrible, stupid cars.
It happens.
So
The best part is like this person backed into that spot and then turned the wheel so that it was doing the ka-chow stance.
yeah, you got to turn your wheels a quarter turn or a quarter lock for sure, dude.
I mean,
So people can see dim rims.
yeah. So when someone wants to like sit on the ground and get that low angle on their camera,
Or just stand halfway across the parking lot and take a picture of it. I mean, same.
yeah. I don't understand because somebody spent a lot of time airbrushing that thing.
Very poorly.
And
Maybe it was their first time.
Yeah, but
and then I can't fault them for that, Robbie. You got to start somewhere.
But it doesn't make any sense. Like, just do flames or something.
Yeah, I know, right? That's where I was at on it. Like, do flames. The flames are lame. Don't get me wrong.
Or do, like, old school pinstriping. Like, it doesn't make any sense on your Cavalier, but just do something.
Yeah.
This Christmas tree that you splatted all over the front of it with is not working for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's a nug of marijuana and they're, like, super stoners.
That's like the best case scenario, frankly.
Because it's not even like, it's not truly green. It's like a blue.
Yeah. So
It's like a beer. It's like a goatee. It's like a soul patch. It's a soul patch on your Cavalier.
I mean, I guess. Yikes. So next up is I found this in an old customer from the last place I worked at's barn. I was running some wiring through it, and it's a go-kart, a gas-powered go-kart. It's very old, like 60s old.
Yeah.
It was a Corvette
Stingray,
like a C2.
Yep.
He said it was there when he bought the place. He has no idea about it. And I was like, is that like something you'd want to get rid of? Like, nah, I got grandkids that are coming up on the age. I'll probably, it's like, no, you won't. No, you won't. Just sell it to me.
Yeah.
But
I bet that's worth a boatload of money.
I couldn't for the life of me. Like I remember getting down on my hands and knees and like looking for a manufacturer or something. I couldn't find a tag. It was just like a nondescript Briggs and Stratton engine, so that wasn't helpful.
Nope. I say maybe it's someone that's really good with fiberglass just made it, but yeah, if this was like a manufactured thing, I bet it's worth a fortune.
I bet it is too.
Because like pedal cars are worth stupid money.
Yeah, old go-karts are getting up in there too, because there's every once in a while somebody will post like this era go-kart. Like they like in the 70s and 80s and maybe a little bit into the 90s, promotional like giveaway go-karts were a thing. Right?
Yep.
And some of those are quite valuable, especially if the car they're based on is even mildly cool.
Right.
Which I think this would fall under because it's a Corvette, right? Like it's not like the best representation of a C2 Corvette, but that's clearly what it is.
Yeah. It's obviously a Corvette Stingray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I bet that guy doesn't even realize what he's sitting on.
$10 says it's still sitting there too.
Yep. Probably has snow on it right now.
Yeah, probably. So I could drive you right to it. I remember where he lives.
Oh, man.
I'm sure he won't sell it to me now either. Especially since he kind of owns the company I used to work for and I don't work there anymore.
Just bring your kid and have him.
Probably not my best friend anymore.
It's fine. Just have, if he's saving it for his grandkids, have your kid go look at it and talk about how much he loves it, and then let him, or have him let you buy it.
I feel like you should, for sure.
It's the right thing.
It's super cool. I don't know what it is, but I wish I could have figured out what it was just to like, satisfy my own curiosity.
Yeah, to throw a real number at it.
Yeah, just to be like, Jesus Christ, that's $10,000 worth of bullshit just sitting in there. I mean, it's probably not quite that much.
Yeah,
but
I assume not.
I don't know. Maybe it is. You never know.
Yeah, I'm never surprised at the value of some of this stuff. Like, it makes no sense to me, but the value of some antique stuff is unbelievable.
Yeah. That little Porsche Power Wheels thing I have in my garage could be worth serious money. I just can't figure out if it is or not.
Right.
Which probably means it really truly is too. But whatever.
There's probably someone out there that's just waiting for the one day that those come for sale.
I don't know. If Logan seems to be terrified of it. And if that hasn't improved any this spring, I might try and see if I can move it down the river for a little bit of money.
Hey,
so
makes sense to do it.
Last one of my silly storied photos. I said earlier that we were going to talk about another crazy, weird thing that just happened to show up at a local autocross, and here it is. So this was at an Iowa Speedway autocross.
Back when we used to do those.
I don't remember if it was a DMVR event or if it was one of the Corvette Club events. I don't remember which now. I want to say it was maybe a Corvette Club event. But either way, it is a Lotus 7 Rep without a body put on it yet. It has an Ecotec in the front, a 2.4 liter Ecotec, a naturally aspirated one, if I remember correctly.
It looks that way, yes.
And then it had a torque tube and a Corvette T56 and Corvette independent rear suspension in the back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They spent good money on this.
Dude, this thing I'll bet is an absolute riot to drive.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
Yeah. The weight distribution on this thing's got to be pretty cool. And it was very well built. And yeah, I can only imagine that this thing is a handful. Even with, probably 200 horse.
Yeah, but
because it probably weighs
1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds.
Yeah. And T56 in it, good trans. I mean, it's an all right motor. Certainly the motor I would have picked. It's probably not the best motor you could pick, but it's definitely the one I would have picked.
It's not a bad, it's definitely not a bad choice. I don't know what
that says about me, but yeah, it was super cool. And I've never seen it again. I've never seen pictures of it at other events. I've never seen it at other events. I didn't know the guy. It just disappeared.
Weird. Now you'd think something that unique would show up eventually. Even
somebody spent a lot of time and money building this thing.
Right.
I think it had Corvette brakes on it. I mean, it was a lot of Corvette parts on it.
Yeah, so it looks like
those are Corvette wheels for whatever that's worth.
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you just took the whole, control arm and all that stuff.
That's what the back end was.
Yeah, front looks that way too.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm not expert.
Very easy to be.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on Corvette roller control arms, but just kind of seems like that would make sense.
Yeah. So, I'll bet it's a dope ride, though.
Yeah, I'd love to drive that thing.
So, I don't know if he has a body for it. It just wasn't on there, or if that's, kind of the finished product because it's an autocross rig or what it was about, but it's cool. It'd be fun to drive. I'd love to see it more. So,
yeah, if anybody
weird
knows,
things you see at autocross events.
Yeah, maybe someone local knows where that is.
That seems like a good podcast group topic.
All the weird stuff that
have shown up, good or bad, at your local autocrosses. Because I'll bet there's a bunch of guys with silly stories.
Yeah, I would enjoy both of those sides of that, the good and bad.
Yeah, for sure. So I know there is a video on YouTube of somebody showing up to one of our Good Guys events and taking like a 1-ton chassis, like I want to say 40s or 50s, either Ford or Chevy, doesn't matter, big truck through the autocross. So I don't know if they're quite so cavalier with their "we'll let anything run" thing anymore.
I don't think so. Not
as they maybe were back when it was less serious than it is these days.
Yeah, if there's a rollover risk, you're not getting on track.
Yeah. So, Robbie, let's do some news so I can get this wrapped up. We got to get moving here. Okay. So,
as always, our news is presented by ApexPro, ApexTrackCoach.com. Looking forward to using our ApexPro again next year, which is rapidly approaching because it is February already. I still haven't had a chance to put my unit or my OBD2 unit in my Z because it's still at Factory Fab. He's super busy. He's got an endless list of projects that he's got going on, or not projects, but like clients and stuff to work on. So haven't had a chance to do that. But ApexTrackCoach.com, if you want to get your unit, you get a free window mount if you use the code TenTenths when you buy yours. I say this is about as good as it gets price-wise when it comes to getting into data and the support system, whether it's through the Facebook group or through Andrew himself. It's second to none. So if you want to really learn about data as well as not spend a boatload of money to get there, this is where you should start. So ApexTrackCoach.com.
First up, the small volume manufacturing law has finally got into effect. I don't know if we got the full version that we had originally hoped for, but if you are a producer of cars 25 years or older, replica cars 25 years or older, you can now sell a complete car instead of selling a rolling chassis that the customer has to finish to be licensed as a kit car.
I was a year off on my prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember 2 years ago I predicted that 2020 that this would be a thing?
Yeah, that's right.
Literally a year off.
We finally got there.
Yep. So I think you're allowed to, a company can make 25 cars per year.
Man, I swear that I read on this like a week ago that it was way more than that, and now I don't see it in here.
I could have swore it was 25, but now, yeah.
I thought it was like something crazy like 2,000.
No. Oh, wait, no, I'm confusing the years. 25 years old.
25 years old.
So,
yep, I knew that.
Okay. Maybe
I don't see how many you can build in this particular article.
5,000.
So, 5,000.
Crazy numbers. Manufacturers are limited to 5,000 vehicles a year to qualify as low volume.
That seems like a lot. Like, that's a lot of 550 Spider reps.
5,000 is not a small number. I would consider 500 a small number.
That's even kind of a lot.
Yeah.
When you're just selling to an American market.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's great that they let it be
relatively niche cars.
I really don't have a problem with it being 5,000. It just surprises me.
I hope that some people are able to do that.
Yeah, I was convinced it was 25. You can make 25 of these. Okay.
25 makes sense, I guess. Even 25 a year is kind of a lot.
For something that's, not good. I mean, you're not going to sell
like it's called a small volume manufacturer. So,
I'm curious how big the market is for that. I mean, maybe they
so I'm kind of bummed that it's just cars replicas that are 25 years or older. Kind of bummed out that that's what it is.
Well, what do you want it to be? That you want it to be like custom, like one-offs? I
would like the opportunity to build cars that didn't ever exist. Yes.
Well, wouldn't that fall into I wonder if there's like a caveat to this. If you do create your brand new one, you could use the same use the same kind of rules to get it implemented. You wouldn't necessarily have to follow all the same rules of like copying somebody, but since it's I don't know. I thought that was kind of part of that.
Yeah, I thought it was originally too that you could build kind of one-offs, customs, kit cars, for lack of a better term, that were complete turnkey vehicles.
Yeah, and maybe
and that doesn't seem to be what this is. This is specifically talking about cars that are 25 years or older being replicated legally. So I guess maybe baby steps is better than no steps.
Yeah. Well, even the actual SEMA release says that a replica car law implementing regulations allow a low volume manufacturer to construct 325 such replicas a year. So I think they're allowed to make 325 of the replicas. But in order to qualify as a small volume vehicle manufacturer,
they have to make less than
5,000. So there's a little bit of clarity. So like if you're making,
look at you.
Let's say me and you are making replica cars. It's Adam and Rob's hot rod shop, and we're making cars.
Hell yeah. We're building 240SX replicas.
We're only allowed to make 325 240SX replicas and 325 Omni replicas per year. But we can
listening.
But we can make 5,000 total per year. So if we have different models, we could have up to 3,000 vehicles. So now it makes more sense, or 5,000 vehicles. Sorry, now it makes more sense, and I'm more on board with that. I think that's good.
This was originally the law was originally enacted to start doing this December 4th of 2015.
Yeah. Well, it's the American government. So yeah, 5-6 years sounds about right to implement something.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So yeah,
that's cool. That's good.
It is cool. It's finally some political stuff that's not like the worst news.
Yes.
So that's nice. Next, the last hurrah of the V Series, Cadillac's V Series.
That's so
the
good.
660 horsepower CT5 Blackwing and the 472 horsepower CT4V Blackwing. Both available in motherfucking manuals, Robbie.
So good.
The only four-door fast manual saloon car that money can buy has brand new cars in 2021.
And they're so expensive.
Yes.
The CT5 is, what, 85 grand?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I'm looking for, that's what I think that's what I read. That's the more expensive one, but it's not like the 4 is far behind.
Yeah, I think it's like 68 or something. They're so expensive.
I don't see it here now, and I read it, but it's been a while.
Yes, it might be slightly off, but yeah, it's in the ballpark of 60, 70 grand for the CT4, and then the CT5 is upwards of 80.
Yeah. So,
you know what they should
What? Go ahead.
I was going to say what they should have done. If it was Dodge, they would have tuned it down 2 more horsepower for the CT5. It would have been 666, and they would have had been like the demon car, and it was sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Because it would be pure evil, and it would be awesome. It's a good looking car. I mean, it's kind of like the G8, and we love the G8. Even though
I think they're both really good looking cars. I really like them.
I don't know what you do with 668 horsepower and a 4-door.
I mean, what don't you do with it, Robbie?
But
you drive along and you burn off rubber like it's going out of style. It's great.
Yeah. So what happens if they sell the shit out of these and they realize, hey, maybe there's a market. Let's not kill it. I mean, I
don't think that's what's going to happen, Robbie.
That's not how it goes, but that'd be great.
Yeah. So the CT5, that's a V8 with a supercharger on it.
It's got like a 1.6 liter?
1.7 liter Eaton supercharger.
Oh, that sounds
so that
good.
makes me wonder what direction they'll go with the Vet.
That is a good question.
I think the Corvette is my best chance. This was a question I was going to ask you. We'll save that for a later day.
Okay.
But I think that the Corvette is my best chance at being right about my 1,000 horsepower mass produced prediction.
Yeah, I think
there's going to be an electric one or a hybrid one, I should say.
Yeah,
I think might just crest in there.
Would not surprise me at all. No.
So it's not that far to go when you're only making 668 horsepower with your V8. What's another 300 horsepower?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Either way, these are probably one of those cars that like I'll never ever get to see.
And when you do, you're actually gonna really enjoy it. Like one of these rolls into a Cars and Coffee, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's the Blackwing!" And everyone's like, "What? It's just a Cadillac." No, it's not just a Cadillac. It's fucking great.
Yeah. It's the last stick shift, man. Yeah. So I'm glad they made them as stick shifts.
Yes,
that's cool. That's super.
Even if they don't
cool.
sell very many of them, I am very happy that they did.
Yeah, and at least they made them look good.
And they are very good looking cars.
Yep. So, and last up, more new car news: the 2021 Ford F-150 Raptor. I realized, Robbie, that I copied the wrong link.
That's okay. I opened a different one.
So, yes, it was supposed to be a car and driver report.
It's Motor Authority.
So there's going to be the twin turbo V6.
Yep.
As there have been for a while. Should make somewhere around 450 horsepower.
Just fine.
Which is reasonable. And then they're teasing what may be called an R package.
Good, because the Raptor wasn't expensive enough.
Which will probably have the Shelby GT500's 760 horsepower supercharged V8.
That's insane.
What up, Dodge?
That's awesome.
Optional 37-inch tires, making them the largest tires of any factory vehicle ever made.
Wow.
Which is kind of silly.
They kind of went off the deep end here.
I'm mildly surprised that they're the first ones to offer 37s. Although it doesn't say they're the first, it just says they're the largest. So I suppose that someone else could have done it, and these would still count.
I am surprised.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't say they're the first to sell a 37. Someone else could have sold a 37 too. Doesn't make it any less not the biggest. Just not the first.
Yeah, it's just they're
Those
so
are different.
Freaking huge.
So silly.
They may have gone a little off the deep end with this one, if that's what they're doing. A 700 horsepower, like off-road Baja capable truck that everyone's going to drive to the mall.
Well, I don't think they're going to come out and say this, but this might be like the last hurrah here too. You know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've always liked the Raptor. You don't need a 700 horsepower V8. I mean, just you could pull a stock 5.0 out of your base model Mustang and throw it. Well, not base, could be a V6, but your lowest level V8 Mustang, and just throw that V8 in there and be like, 450 horsepower, naturally aspirated V8, great.
But why would you bother when you could get that with the twin turbo V6?
But doesn't have V8 noises? Doesn't have the torques?
I think the real issue is that the V6 gets better gas mileage, and not that that's specifically a concern of Raptor owners, but it is a concern of the corporate fleet average.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the man keeping us down, Robbie.
That is the man keeping us down.
Yeah. So, so they completely redesigned the rear end of the truck. The old ones are leaf springs. This one has a 5-link coil spring setup, so this is it's like a huge redesign. So maybe this won't be the last one.
No,
because like that's a lot of work to go through to just like, well, now we're done with this thing, so let's throw it away now.
No, they're gonna sell these for like $100,000, and they're gonna be everywhere. Everyone's gonna have a very capable off-road vehicle.
The non-R, the base, if you will, the 450 horsepower base option package, starting at $59,000 estimated.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So they don't really talk much about where they think the R package is going to fall, because it's still very, very up in the air.
Yeah, you're making a lot of assumptions on what
they're not even totally sure that that's the engine it's going to have. That's just kind of what they're guessing.
Yeah.
So
pretty wild. It's a wild truck.
Yeah. Very wild. I still don't get it.
I don't need the 700 horsepower one, but I still really like one of the first ones that came out, the V8, the original.
Yeah.
I really like that one still. Was it 2014? God, 2014 was a good year, man.
I'm glad that they haven't watered it down.
Yeah. That's what their other trucks are for. I mean, this was a ridiculous truck, and they've kept it a ridiculous truck. So, good for
all
them.
intents and purposes, it seems they've made it better
For everything that it was designed to do, yeah.
Yeah. As they've evolved it, it's gotten better. So, yeah, I guess good for them.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, let's shut this down, Robbie. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a short show.
I got to go to work.
Well, have fun at work. I'm going to go to bed. I will catch
All right, man.
I'll catch everybody else next week.